Producer We the People. This is just maybe a couple of videos I'm gonna produce, just for in general. Before I do anything, this is a learning deal, and always talk to a lawyer if you think you need to. I'm using this as a learning video. I may stop and proceed forward on it every so often, but always look around you, never straight forward, for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon you, is in case in point of this video. So, you think you're innocent? Yeah. Maybe other people don't think you are.
We usually ask people to both do this thing, okay?
Caitlin Ebner crossed the line and got pulled over on her way home from work.
Blow real hard. The bones don't ask you to stop. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can't stop.
No, she wasn't drinking. All tests for alcohol came up empty.
When's the last time you smoked marijuana?
Oh, I don't do that. I can give you a drug test right now.
You don't smoke marijuana?
I do not, no.
All right, well, you're showing me indicators that you have been smoking marijuana, okay?
I didn't realize that you could get arrested for something that you didn't do until it happened to me.
What's your risk for me? I don't want to pinch you.
Smoking marijuana?
No, ma'am, not in possession unless I find it in your car. I believe that you're impaired by the marijuana that you smoked.
Before you felt those handcuffs closing over your wrist, did you understand just how serious this was?
I didn't understand. As soon as I took that breathalyzer, I thought I was going home.
This time you're being taken into custody, okay, for DUI drugs.
The waitress spent the night in jail and had her alcohol server's permit revoked because of the DUI arrest. After 4 months, prosecutors dismissed all charges because her blood test came back completely clean. You had to spend months and thousands of dollars proving your innocence.
I did.
When's the last time you smoked weed? You don't smoke weed?
The same thing happened to this college student 2 weeks earlier on Good Friday.
Well, I believe you have, okay? I need to borrow your arm real quick, okay? I believe that's why you were failing to maintain your lane and driving halfway on the ramp when I was behind you.
Hold on one second.
Give me just 1 second. Give me just 1 second.
Arresting me.
That's correct.
I didn't understand. I'm like, why are you arresting me? Like, what did I do? He said DUI of a substance. I'm like, what?
You arrested me because you think I smoke marijuana?
I believe you're impaired by cannabis. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I don't smoke weed. Is there a way you can test me right now?
Princess Umbamara was also jailed and fought the DUI drug charges for half of 2016. So the blood test comes back, they toss the case.
I remember my lawyer trying to talk about a deal. I was like, what? I'm not taking a deal. I didn't do anything. I want, like, my life back. Can you reverse time?
Can you stick your tongue out real big?
Months later, it happened a third.
Okay. Sit and think about this. She is paying an attorney so that way she can be proven innocent, and her attorney is talking to her about a plea deal. Alright? When she was completely innocent. Now imagine how many people are actually don't have the money to fight this, and they actually do a plea. You guys think I'm full of it when I say you're guilty first and proven innocent. Here's a video saying otherwise. Are you thinking, oh, well, this is one incident? No, it's not. In the state of Texas, they can arrest you for suspicious. Not facts. Not reasonable doubt. But because you deny breathalyzer test, because you are suspicious. And suspicious is not a crime. And yet, you had to fight all these things to stand up for your rights because you are innocent.
time to this Auburn student.
You're giving me indicators that you have consumed marijuana, so you're being placed on arrest for DUI, okay?
The prosecutor filed this dismissal of the student's DUI drug charge 5 months later. Defendant performed well on field sobriety evaluations, and blood and urine were negative. 3 DUI drug arrests, 3 tox screens negative for marijuana. 1 police officer, Cobb County's T.T. Carroll. Documents show Carroll is one of the highest rated and best trained officers on Cobb County's legendary DUI task force.
Well, you're showing me numerous indicators.
He's a certified drug recognition expert.
Well, I don't believe you're telling me the truth, okay? I don't believe because I'm seeing some involuntary indicators that you've consumed marijuana.
One of 250 Georgia officers who've gone through this intensive month-long training. A drug recognition evaluation involves a dozen observations that allow officers not only to pronounce a driver is on drugs, but to identify which of 7 types of drugs are in their system.
Marijuana, and how do I look at somebody and say marijuana?
There are involuntary responses of the body that we can observe that was...
So they are training officers to arrest you without factual evidence. Just by guessing the way they are, the way they act. Everybody acts different. Some is more nervous with cops than others. There's many different factors in this. Now, this is what I'm going to say to y'all. It's never a good idea to be under the influence of anything that can cause other people harm. Do all these things in your house if you must, but not outside where you can cause other people harm.
Suggest impairment of marijuana.
He did these techniques that he was taught, and he determined you were on something you weren't on.
Yeah, unfortunate for me.
Because he's ingesting marijuana. That's what my training suggests.
Officer Carroll relies on his drug recognition expert training, but in these 3 dismissed cases, he didn't do the full DRE evaluation after the arrest. The standard protocol requires all 12 steps to be complete, yet any police officer can make a DUI drug arrest on fewer observations.
If I establish probable cause, and I believe that based on my training, that's why I put the handcuffs on you. Several indicators.
Okay, so when I do a drug test, I'll be free to go, correct?
You're going to jail, ma'am. Okay, I don't have a magical drug test that I can give you right now.
But he just did the magic drug test that resulted in your arrest.
They're ruining innocent people's lives.
Caitlin Ebner filed an internal affairs complaint against Officer Carroll. Cobb County investigators exonerated the officer and doubted Caitlin's innocence, insisting the marijuana could have already metabolized out of the blood.
They said, yeah, we see this happen all the time. The test results come back wrong.
So the test results were wrong.
Yeah, that's what they said, that the test results were wrong. And also, if I had a urine test, that it would have came back positive for drugs.
But Caitlin got her own urine test the same week as her arrest. The urine test was also negative for marijuana or other drugs. This training is so powerful that they believe they can detect drugs that a blood test will not detect.
It's extremely surprising. That's my life that they're playing with.
Cobb County Police Department.
Last week, Cobb County's DUI task force was awarded a trophy by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
1,696 DUI arrests.
And Officer Carroll was given a silver medal for 90 DUI arrests in 2016. He put dozens of actual convicted drunk drivers behind bars last year. But if you got 3 people who were innocent behind bars, having to defend themselves, how does that balance out for you?
It's something I have to carry for the rest of my life.
So then I said to him, you ought to customize your car insurance at Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
They are suing the Cobb County Police Department in this federal suit. They are the same drivers we showed had negative blood tests for marijuana, despite spending months.
Now, just to remind you guys, the Constitution was designed to make sure innocent people was not harmed. That even if it takes bad guys to get away, that was fine as long as innocent people didn't get taken to jail. But the way they designed it and the way they changed the Constitution and the way they added these other laws and all that kind of stuff, you're literally innocent until proven guilty, y'all. There's just no way around it. I've seen too many evidence saying otherwise against me, against family members, and people on YouTube, people on Facebook. You know, everybody keeps on, well, you should do this, you should do that. Why? Why do you have to prove your innocence? You never should have to prove your innocence.
Defending themselves against DUI charges.
I want to ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
When's the last time you smoked marijuana?
Oh, I don't do that. I can give you a drug test right now.
You don't smoke marijuana?
I do not.
Okay. You're giving me indicators that you have consumed marijuana, okay? Because I'm seeing some involuntary indicators that you've consumed marijuana.
3 DUI drug arrests.
They arrested me because you think I smoke marijuana?
I believe you're impaired by cannabis, yes ma'am.
All 3 blood tests negative for marijuana.
Because he thinks there's no evidence of facts. Now, there may be suspicion, which is not a crime. And maybe he should have stood behind her and followed her longer and see if it's a constant deal. And maybe he would have a little more presumptions of guilt. But he 100% is just, I think he's just doing this to create a record and get raises and all that.
The charges were eventually dropped, but the lab results took months, and still the Cobb County Police Department insists its officers can detect marijuana in drivers that a crime lab cannot. Can these blood tests be trusted to convict a driver if they can't be trusted to exonerate a driver?
That's a fair question, and that certainly is a topic that needs to be debated with expert personnel, medical personnel.
Cobb County's new police chief, Michael Register, is not named in the ACLU lawsuit.
Okay, medical personnel is not creating these policies. Medical professionals is not taking these people to training and giving false illusions. So why do they have to converse with expert medical?
But he is overseeing changes to his department's policies as a direct result of our investigation. All 3 drivers suing the police were jailed overnight. Now Cobb County is releasing drivers suspected of marijuana impairment and delaying formal charges until the blood tests come back.
We certainly want to protect the citizens on the roadways of Cobb County by getting a suspected impaired driver off the roadway, but we also don't want to make an unnecessary arrest on a citizen.
The 11 Alive investigators uncovered the clean drug test by reviewing dozens of DUI arrests by the same drug recognition expert officer. We manually checked 85 cases through court records and found multiple dismissals. 3 were nearly identical. The 3 drivers who are now suing the police department for wrongful arrest. They're kind of treating him like the human drug-sniffing dog. He's the drug whisperer. He can see impairment in people that other officers can't see.
I think that they think that because he has so many arrests. One day I'm going to go and get a real job and people are going to be able to Google my name and see that I was arrested for drugs that I didn't do.
And that's Caitlin Ebner, one of the 3 plaintiffs.
Okay, we're going to go back onto this arrest deal, right? So even if your case is dismissed, on record you're going to be arrested on file from that minute on, y'all. And when officers run your plates or will run your name and all that, all it shows is that you've been arrested. So they're going to still automatically jump to conclusions that you're a drug addict or a violent criminal or this or that, when cases been dropped, when you've been found innocent, or this, and this. The cops don't know what happened with the court case. It's been expunged. It's been dropped. It's dismissed. All they know is the arrest. Whether you're innocent or guilty, that's all they see when they pull you over. And that right there has got to go. If you're arrested and the court's been dismissed, that arrest needs to be expunged from the database. At least to the cops when they pull people over. Or at least send, arrest dismissed. And I don't even care if they say whatever else, but it's got to have something follow through with it. That way the cops actually have some other type of guidelines with it, instead of just automatically jumping to conclusions.
In this case, we did talk with the police chief before this lawsuit was filed, but it's really not just Cobb County. Tonight on the late feed, we're going to actually show you dash cam from a professor down in South Georgia who nearly lost custody of his 2 young children because of an over-the-counter Tylenol PM he had taken the day before he was stopped. That is at 11.
And there's so many medicines these days that people are taking, for an assortment of ailments that you can't really tell what it will be on their bodies. I mean,
and the way this
we've
works,
become a culture of that.
Exactly, and the way this works is if they find anything in your blood and they saw you touch the yellow line, one is proof for the other, and you are DUI.
Wow.
And months later, it still is getting sorted out.
Months later, it takes the GBI crime lab that long, and in the meantime, you're guilty till proven innocent.
That's amazing.
Get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Install the Chime app today and get started.
So,
Drivers in the United States are
listen to that
qualified
fact,
for a
y'all.
$637 refund from the Safe Drivers Initiative.
Even from them, they're saying you're
This new relief
guilty
program was recently
before
administered to help
innocent.
lower car.
Period.
You don't smoke marijuana?
So,
You don't consume
I don't know.
marijuana or nothing like that? I think. Well, I believe you have. Okay, I need to borrow your arm real quick, okay?
The courts of the public
drug recognition expert did not believe these drivers.
opinions has got to win over. If anything about any of these shootings and mishandling these people that's been on news for a while now, if anything, it shows really how corrupt everything really is. And I don't care if you're liberal, Democrat, Republican, right wing, all that. Everybody's in the same wheelhouse. You are guilty until proven innocent. Diesel for We the People News. Bye, y'all.